The rain had been falling for so long that the world felt washed thin, like everything solid had softened into shadows and sound. At the edge of the nearly empty bus stop, beneath a flickering shelter light, a single figure sat unmoving on a cold metal bench. She was small, soaked, and alone, her face covered by a black cloth tied carefully around her eyes, her hands gripping a white cane as if it were the last thing anchoring her to the earth. No bag. No phone. No sign anyone was coming back for her. And as a tired single father slowed his car nearby, juggling grief, exhaustion, and a life already stretched too thin, he had no idea that stopping for this abandoned blind girl would unravel a truth that would change everything he thought he knew about loss, responsibility, and love. Before the story goes any further, take a moment. If you believe in kindness when the world feels cruel, in second chances when life feels unfair, and in the power of one small choice to change a life forever, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Ethan Cole had not planned to stop. He was a single dad of a 7-year-old boy, barely holding things together since his wife passed away 2 years earlier in a sudden accident that still replayed in his mind during sleepless nights. Every day felt like a balancing act between work, parenting, and grief he never quite had time to process. That evening, he had just finished a double shift at a warehouse, his back aching, his mind heavy with bills and the quiet guilt of leaving his son with a neighbor again. The rain blurred his windshield, and all he wanted was to get home. But something about the stillness of that girl at the bus stop pierced through his exhaustion. People passed by without stopping. Cars splashed water near her feet. She did not flinch. She did not move. She simply waited. Ethan pulled over without fully understanding why. When he stepped out into the rain, the cold hit him sharply, but the sight of her up close hit harder. She could not have been more than her early 20s. Her dress clung to her frame, soaked and heavy. Her hair was damp, strands stuck to her cheeks. The blindfold was not improvised, it was deliberate, tied carefully, worn long enough to look familiar. The white cane rested against her knee, worn at the tip from use. This was not temporary blindness. This was a life. And yet, there was something else, something deeply wrong. She had been left here. Not waiting for a bus. Not waiting for someone late. Left. Ethan offered help in the simplest way he knew how, his voice steady despite the uncertainty twisting inside him. The girl turned her head slightly toward him, her posture tense but controlled. She did not panic. She did not cry. That composure unsettled him more than fear would have. She explained, carefully and quietly, that she had been told someone would come back. Hours ago. Her phone was gone. Her bag was gone. She did not know where she was exactly, only that it was raining and the buses had stopped coming. She spoke with the calm of someone who had learned long ago that panic solves nothing. Bringing her home was not a decision Ethan made lightly. He thought of his son asleep in a small bedroom filled with toy cars and night lights. He thought of boundaries, of safety, of how complicated life already was. But he also thought of what it meant to be left alone when you needed someone most. He remembered hospital hallways, the moment doctors told him his wife was gone, the way the world kept moving while his head stopped. He could not leave her there. Not like that. So he drove her home, rain trailing behind them like unanswered questions. His house was modest, quiet, and imperfect, much like him. When his son padded into the living room half awake, confusion on his face, Ethan felt a rush of fear mixed with resolve. He explained simply that someone needed help tonight. His son, wise beyond his years from loss he should never have known, accepted it without hesitation. He brought her a towel. He asked if she wanted hot chocolate. In that moment, Ethan realized that kindness had not disappeared from his home with his wife. It had simply changed shape. Over the next few days, what was meant to be temporary stretched into something more complicated. The girl's name was Lily. She had been blind since childhood, the result of an illness that took her sight and, slowly, much of her family's patience. She moved carefully but confidently through space once she learned its layout, counting steps, memorizing sounds, navigating a world that rarely slowed down for her. Ethan learned that she had been living with a distant relative who promised care but delivered neglect. That bus stop was not an accident. It was an ending disguised as inconvenience. Ethan found himself adjusting his routine without thinking about it. He spoke more clearly when entering rooms. He described the weather, the colors of the sky, the small expressions on his son's face. In doing so, he realized how much he himself had stopped noticing. Lily listened intently, as if building a visual world brick by brick inside her mind. She asked thoughtful questions, not out of helplessness but curiosity. She carried pain quietly, but it was there, woven into the careful way she trusted. As days turned into weeks, the house changed. Laughter returned in small bursts. Meals became shared moments instead of rushed necessities. Ethan's son grew protective of Lily in a gentle, innocent way, offering his arm when she walked, describing his drawings with vivid imagination. And Ethan, who had closed himself off emotionally since his wife's death, felt something thawing. Not romance. Not replacement. Something deeper. Purpose. But life has a way of testing fragile peace. Social services became involved after Ethan reported Lily's abandonment. Questions were asked. Papers were filed. Temporary arrangements were labeled and categorized. The threat of Lily being moved to a system that had already failed her loomed heavy over the household. Ethan felt powerless, the same helplessness he felt in hospital waiting rooms years ago. But this time, he refused to stand still. He dug into Lily's past, uncovering medical records, old school reports, and evidence of neglect that painted a clear picture. He spoke at hearings with a voice that shook but did not break. He described Lily not as a burden or a case, but as a person with dignity, resilience, and potential. He described his home not as perfect, but as safe. And slowly, resistance softened. Through it all, Lily remained remarkably steady. She did not beg to stay. She did not cling. That quiet acceptance frightened Ethan more than tears ever could. It spoke of a lifetime spent expecting to be unwanted. And that realization cracked something open inside him. He understood then that love was not about grand gestures. It was about consistency. About staying when leaving would be easier. When the decision finally came, it was not dramatic. There were no celebrations. Just a simple acknowledgement that Lily would not be sent away. That she could stay. Permanently, if she wished. In that moment, the weight of years seemed to lift just enough for everyone to breathe again. Ethan felt his wife's memory not as a wound, but as a guiding presence. She had always believed in helping others. In opening the door even when it scared you. Life did not become perfect after that. There were challenges. Medical appointments. Financial strain. Emotional setbacks. But there was also growth. Lily enrolled in a program that supported her independence. She learned new skills. She began to dream again, cautiously at first, then boldly. Ethan's son thrived in a home filled with empathy and understanding. And Ethan himself learned that healing does not mean forgetting. It means allowing joy to exist alongside grief. If this story is touching something inside you right now, if it reminds you of someone who helped you when you were at your lowest, please take a moment to engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let the algorithm carry this message of compassion further than we ever could alone. As time passed, Ethan often thought back to that rain-soaked bus stop. How close he had come to driving past. How easily Lily could have disappeared into a system that never saw her. He realized that the most life-altering moments rarely announce themselves. They whisper. They wait quietly at the edge of your routine, asking only that you notice. Before this story ends, we have one special request. Please comment below with the words, "I choose kindness," if you believe that one act of compassion can change a life. Your comment is more powerful than you think. In the end, Ethan did not just help a blind girl abandoned at a bus stop. He found a missing piece of himself. Lily did not just find shelter. She found belonging. And together, they proved that family is not always defined by blood, but by the courage to care when it would be easier not to.